Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
A mother is in jail this afternoon accused of putting her children in danger. Find out what sheriff's deputies found when they went to the family's home.
Sunshine making a return visit to parts of central and eastern Kentucky right now. We will talk about how long that will stick around coming up.
It's now up to the House to pass a bill to keep the government running. Lawmakers are facing a midnight deadline. I'm Craig Boswell on Capitol Hill. That's coming up.
Welcome to WKYT News at 4. I'm Jennifer Palumbo. We're seeing something today we haven't seen a lot of lately. Sunshine, but don't let it fool you. It is still cold. This is our sky cam on the Herald Leader building in downtown Lexington, where it's in the upper 30s this afternoon. So how long will the sunshine stick around? Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has a first look at the forecast. Chris, it's nice to see.
It really is. It's something we haven't seen very much of at all for the month of December. You got to go back to last Sunday for the last time we actually had some sun throughout the region. That's really the only other day this month. That's what it looks like at our live sky cam. And boy, that is a sight for sore eyes with those temperatures still into the upper 30s. So it's colder than normal with a west to southwesterly wind now instead of that northerly flow we've been in over the past couple of days. 33 is the current wind chill with that 8-mile-per-hour wind. It's kind of the old squeeze play. We've got some clouds to our west, clouds that are trying to back into town from that area of low pressure across the New England states. Sandwiched in the middle of it is a little weak area of high pressure. So we call this a squeeze play sunshine, where we're kind of in the sweet spot, at least in the short term. Though we look ahead toward that weekend, we're going to try to keep a little sunshine around Jennifer into Friday, but some changes to that weekend forecast will include more in the way of some clouds. We will check in on that and look at the 7-day forecast that remains very, very active as we get closer and closer to Christmas. That's in about 15 minutes.
Police say a southern Kentucky mother spent the night out drinking when she should have been caring for her 2 small children. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office arrested Vicki Johnson on abuse charges this morning. WKYT's Phil Pendleton is tracking the case. It's our top story at 4.
41-year-old Vicki Johnson was charged with criminal abuse and wanton endangerment. Her children were taken from her home and put in the custody of social services after police say they were found living in simply deplorable conditions. Now, police say they received a 911 call early this morning. They went to Vicki Johnson's home on US 25 south of London, where they say they found a trash-filled home, a 6-year-old sleeping on a box spring, and a baby in a crib wearing a diaper that looked like it had not been changed in a very long time. What's more, police say Johnson was extremely drunk. She told them she had just driven from a friend's home that way with the kids with her. They found evidence of drug use, and they say no food was found in the house for the kids to eat. Now, again, Johnson was charged with wanton endangerment 2nd degree and criminal abuse 3rd degree. More about the conditions that police say the kids were found in coming up at 5 and 6. But for now, in Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
We checked with the Laurel County Detention Center to see if Johnson wanted to give her side of the story, but she said she did not want to do an interview. We are learning new details about how police say a man and woman were able to pull off a bank robbery at a central Kentucky bank. The holdup happened at the United Bank on Harrodsburg Road in Lexington last month. Lexington police arrested and charged 52-year-old Kenneth Honikin and 24-year-old Amanda Eldridge with the robbery. An arrest warrant says Eldridge handed the teller a note that said, "I have a gun. If I don't leave with $5,000, he will kill me. Hurry, stay calm." Police arrested Honikin in Lexington and Eldridge in Jessamine County. Our reporters are working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Amber Philpott is in the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Amber.
Good afternoon to you, Jennifer. A central Kentucky school district is alerting parents after an increase in sickness among its students. In a letter to parents, Mercer County school officials say flu and other illnesses are going around. They're asking parents to keep children home if they have a fever. Siblings can go to school if they don't have symptoms or a fever. Coming up on WKYT News at 5:30, you'll hear what percentage of students are out sick in central Kentucky. A crime alert for anyone shopping online this holiday season. Police say they are seeing an increase in packages being stolen right off of front porches. A woman on Valhalla Drive in Lexington reported having 3 packages stolen. Another was taken on Forest Hill Drive. Coming up on WKYT News at 5, the steps Lexington police say you can take to protect your packages. And recently, filling up doesn't hurt so much. Gas prices continue to fall across the country, even as people prepare to hit the road for Christmas. The Lundberg survey shows the average price has dropped another 12 cents in the last 2 weeks to $2.72 a gallon. Experts say lower crude oil prices are driving prices down, along with an abundant oil supply and the rising value of the U.S. dollar. Coming up on WKYT News at 4:30, we'll tell you what the average price for gas is here in the Bluegrass. That is a look at just some of the news that's in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thanks, Amber. Now to stories making headlines across the nation at 4. Congress needs to act today in order to keep the government open beyond the December 11th expiration of the current funding bill. But as Craig Boswell reports, some so-called riders attached to the spending bill threaten its passage.
Congress has until midnight tonight to pass a new spending bill to fund the government.
Listen, if we don't get finished today, we're going to be here until Christmas.
Democrat and Republican negotiators hammered out a deal on a $1.1 trillion bill with plenty of tacked-on extras. One provision would allow wealthy donors to give significantly more money to political parties. Another blocks the EPA from enforcing some Clean Water Act rules dealing with farmers and pesticides. And another add-on blocks new energy standards to phase out old incandescent light bulbs.
While some members may have objected to this issue or that issue, nobody did this unilaterally. We've done this in a bipartisan fashion, and frankly, it's a good bill.
Congress may have to resort to passing a measure to get them through the next couple of days while they work through some of the bigger sticking points.
Some Democrats are adamantly against a provision rolling back part of the Wall Street reforms and allowing banks to once again conduct some risky trades.
We can fund the government without having to do the bidding of the big banks, without putting taxpayers back on the hook and at risk for bad decisions and gambling by the big banks.
On the other side of the aisle, Tea Party Republicans are upset the bill doesn't block President Obama's recent action on immigration. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Conservative support groups such as the Heritage Fund have called for Republicans to defeat the spending bill. CIA Director John Brennan is responding to the release of a scathing Senate report detailing the spy agency's harsh interrogation tactics in the aftermath of 9/11. The remarks come amid calls from some Senate Democrats for Brennan's resignation. United Nations officials are reportedly considering charges against U.S. and CIA officials who authorized the moves. The Justice Department said it would not prosecute former interrogators and their superiors. The NFL is toughening its personal conduct policy. Commissioner Roger Goodell announced team owners unanimously approved a special counsel for investigations and to oversee initial discipline. The changes were prompted by the league's handling of recent domestic violence cases involving Ray Rice and Adrian Peterson. We'll tell you what type of bills are ruining the credit of millions of Americans next on WKYT Money Watch.
No more need for passwords. Now you can log in with your eyes. I'm Allison Harmelin, and I'll tell you how coming up.
Follow WKYT online at WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
The number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits dropped 3,000 last week as stocks jumped today. The Dow added 63 points to close at 17,596. The Nasdaq picked up 24 and the S&P added 9. For the first time since 2009, oil prices are below $60 a barrel, and that's good news for airline stocks. With fuel costs down, airlines are predicting record profits, and they may finally pass those savings on to travelers. The International Air Transport Association expects ticket prices to drop 5% next year. More Americans are dealing with medical debt. A new government report finds about 20% of American consumers, nearly 43 million people, have unpaid medical debts. One reason is people are confused by the notices they get from hospitals and insurance companies about the cost of their treatment. It can be tough remembering usernames and passwords for all the websites you use, but what if you didn't have to? Allison Harmelin looks at new technology that can let you log in with just your eyes or face.
When Tony Antolino arrives at work, he opens the front door with his eyes.
So there's a little mirror on the camera.
His company, iLock, is now using the same iris scanning technology to replace usernames and passwords for computers.
We look into the mirror, it turns blue because it recognizes a live person, green because it authenticates, and I've just logged into my Facebook account.
The $279 Myris device plugs into any computer and remembers your passwords.
All of us have multiple passwords, multiple sites.
Hector Hoyas is using similar technology in an app. His 1U app costs $9.99 a month and works with the camera in your smartphone. It uses iris and facial recognition to input passwords on your phone, which can also be linked to your computer.
So I'm selecting here my Chase account. Acquires matches me, and my Chase account will come up on the computer and link me right in.
But it's not always perfect. One time the app had trouble in certain lighting and the Myris didn't always log in right away. But both men believe this technology is the wave of the future, and not just for computers. It's already in development for ATMs and security checkpoints.
Welcome, Allison.
No two people on the planet have the same eyes.
The eye-opening technology also allows users to create long and complicated passwords that are more difficult for hackers to crack. Allison Harmelin for CBS News, New York.
Both the 1U app and the Myris device cannot be tricked with a picture or video. They will only work with a real face or eye.
I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about in our iHeartMedia Live Lounge today with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
A lot of cold weather and, of all things, some sunshine breaking out this afternoon. We'll talk about how long that sticks around and the all-important weekend forecast right after the break. Stay here.
More than 10 million albums sold, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra is known for their art form of rock opera.
Yeah, they're great. And you can hear it tonight at Rupp Arena. Deanne Stevens is out and about with a preview of the big show. Hey there, Deanne.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. We are here in our iHeartMedia Live Lounge where we have the awesome privilege to catch up with these folks, part of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Joel and Russell with us. We are so excited to have you guys in town tonight. The one and only stop in Kentucky for right now, I understand.
Correct. It's so wonderful to be here. We're very excited. Thanks.
A lot of folks are excited to see you all. The excitement you bring for the whole family.
The whole family, the whole family. We cannot stress that enough. Actually, the production is one of a kind. If you haven't been to a Trans-Siberian Orchestra show, you're really missing out. It's something very unique and yeah, absolutely good for the whole family. And come on out. We hope to see. There's some tickets still available, I think, correct?
I understand there are very few tickets still available. Showtime is 7:30 tonight at Rupp Arena. You can get them at Rupp. You guys, we're talking vocals and guitar here. Been a part of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra for some time now. Talk about the history and the tradition of it. But yet, I understand it's a new show.
Right. This year's a new show. It's the Christmas Attic. It's the third record in the trilogy. You know, the show's changed over the years, but this is a brand new show, and it's highlighted by a lot of great songs that have never been performed live. And so come out and see it. It's an amazing production, and you're going to get a great show tonight.
All right, tickets still available, as we just mentioned, 7:30 tonight at Rupp Arena. Coming up at 4:50, more with these guys from the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Boy, it just gets you in the holiday mood, doesn't it? I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Deanne. I would love to see that show sometime.
That would be absolutely awesome,
Yeah.
I think. That's right up my alley.
Well, there are new reasons to get a good night's sleep at any age. We'll tell you how not getting enough sleep can affect you as a child and as an adult. And Instagram is now bigger than Twitter. We'll tell you how many users the site has now, next on WKYT News at 4. It's time for better living, health education, and consumer news that impacts your life. Laughing gas is usually used in the dentist office, but now researchers are trying to see if it can also be used as a treatment for depression. A team from Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis conducted a pilot study on 20 patients with severe depression who weren't responding to standard treatment. They randomly selected patients to undergo 2 treatments, one with a mixture of nitrogen and oxygen and the other with laughing gas. 2/3 of the patients receiving the nitrous oxide treatment reported better symptoms compared to just 1/3 of the placebo treatments. A new study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association finds 2/3 of women treated for early-stage breast cancer are receiving radiation too long. The data shows most breast cancer patients are getting 6 to 7 weeks of radiation treatment, despite guidelines that say 3 weeks is clinically effective, more convenient, and less costly. Lack of sleep and sleep-related breathing problems appear to boost a child's obesity risk. Researchers analyzed data from nearly 2,000 British children and followed them for about 15 years. Those who got the least amount of sleep at ages 5 and 6 had a much higher risk of being obese by age 15. The team also found 1/4 of the children were at an increased risk of obesity due to sleep-related breathing problems. The study authors note there are several causes of sleep-related breathing problems in children, and most can be easily fixed. A study also found poor sleep may lead to dementia in adults. Researchers found people who suffer from sleep apnea or spend less time in deep sleep have low blood oxygen levels. They're more likely to develop brain abnormalities that are associated with dementia and Alzheimer's disease. It's a big milestone for Instagram. The picture-sharing social media site owned by Facebook now has 300 million users. That's more than Twitter. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg celebrated the milestone by posting this photo on Instagram. You can see him flipping out in the company's Gravity room. Plus, you may soon have fewer followers. The reason, Instagram is verifying accounts to check for authentic users. Legitimate accounts will get what's called a verified badge, similar to Twitter. McDonald's is changing up its menu. The fast food giant says it plans to trim 8 items from the menu next month. Instead of offering 4 different types of quarter pounders, it will only offer 1. It's also cutting down the number of premium chicken sandwiches and wraps it offers. McDonald's executives say the cuts clear the way for new food items. They also say classics such as the Big Mac will not be going anywhere. For more health, education, and consumer news, go to WKYT.com and click on Better Living. And now let's head over to Chris for another check of the weather.
Yeah, it's finally looking good. We have sunshiny skies showing up basically at every location now throughout central and eastern Kentucky. It's not doing a whole lot for the thermometers, though, that are stuck into the mid and upper 30s. But, boy, it really does something for the old psyche, doesn't it? Just kind of puts a little extra pep in the step, considering just how crazy cloudy we've been over the past couple of weeks. Live first alert defender, no precipitation, so we throw the clouds on there. Look at the clouds to our northeast into parts of the Columbus area toward Pittsburgh. Those are actually kind of coming at us in reverse, so eastern Kentucky, we'll see a few of those clouds a little later this evening. What will happen, though, Jennifer, with a lot of clear skies, low humidities out there this evening, those temperatures will drop quickly into the upper 20s by later this evening.
I had to dig around for the sunglasses today. I hadn't used them in so long.
I know, it's been pre-Thanksgiving since we had to have the sunglasses, basically, right?
Well, the news is just getting started here on WKYT. Here are Sam, Dick, and Amber Philpott with what's ahead at 4:30.